Trae Young has become one of the most overrated players in the entire NBA throughout the past couple of seasons, and the past couple of years have proved to basketball fans and media alike that he is not the kind of player that can lead a team to a deep playoff run after that 2021 initial success that he had earlier on in his career. And this is due to his playstyle being very erratic and his high volume of shots on very low efficiencies. And while watching the Hawks this past couple of seasons, ever since they went to that Eastern Conference Finals run, I've noticed a stagnancy in their offense. And while Trae Young averages over 10 assists a game pretty consistently, and for his career averages 9.5, he does not share the ball in late game situations and clutch situations as much as an elite point guard should. And too often you see Trae Young dribbling up the court in the biggest moments of a game and pulling up for a 30-foot three-point shot while the Hawks are in a close game. And these shots, while he can make them at certain points and it'll go on ESPN and everybody freaks out and thinks that he's the greatest shooter since Steph Curry, these shots are very inefficient, and more times than not, they're going to be a terrible shot to take in a close game. And Trae Young not only takes these shots in big game situations or moments, but he also can ruin the flow of the Hawks offense at certain times when DeJounte Murray will have a good shooting night going into the third quarter, and to come out of halftime, Trae Young will just come out of the locker room and shoot 3 straight deep threes that just kill the entire flow of this Hawks offense. And I'm not trying to say that Trae is the only problem on this Hawks team. I think Quinn Snyder is not the right coach, and this is not the right assortment of players for the Hawks to be really successful. But looking at this team as a whole, they're supposed to have a top 5 point guard in the entire NBA. And when you have a top 5 player in the NBA, you're expected to make at least a playoff spot and potentially win a round or two every single year. But with Trae Young in the Hawks lineup, this team has been either a first round exit or has missed the playoffs the last 3 years since their last playoff run in 2021. And with Trae Young in the lineup, this team has been awful. They just lost to the Chicago Bulls, who have one of the worst rosters in the entire NBA, in the play-in game as the 9 seed. And Trae Young in this game shot abysmal from the field, going 4 for 12 and 3 for 8 from 3. And while you can look at his stats and say, okay, he had 22 points and 10 assists, this was not a game indicative of winning. And if the Hawks cannot even get past the Chicago Bulls in the play-in round, this team has huge issues going forward. And Trae Young is one of the biggest issues. He needs to figure out a way to really play within a team style of basketball. And this offense needs to have some semblance of a real up-tempo offense that includes everyone and involves everyone at every single stage of the game and has pace while also being able to run an effective offense without ruining the tempo by shooting 30-foot three-point shots erratically throughout the game. And Trae Young, if you compare him to his fellow draft mate Luka Doncic, they have had 2 very different career paths. And I think that they have a lot of the same strengths, but Luka has managed to capitalize on his more and get more team success than a guy like Trae Young has, as Luka is a guy that is able to facilitate the offense, and while he does have a lot of isolation possessions within a game, he will also get his teammates hot. And if a guy like Kyrie Irving or someone else is having a hot game, Luka can possibly defer to them. But Trae Young is not a guy that's going to defer to anybody else, even if he is struggling and someone else is having a big game. And I think that's the biggest problem with Trae Young's game outside of his defense, which I'm not even going to touch on in this video. Anyways, let me know what you think. Is Trae Young a top 5 player in the NBA or not? Or sorry, a top 5 point guard in the NBA or not? Let me know what you think in the comments below. God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be one of the first 100 subscribers on this channel. God bless.